Welcome to the Top 10 Gardener with Master Gardener Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with Ken's tips, tricks, and top 10 advice, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, welcome your garden host, Ken Lain.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of Northern Arizona. Oh, May, this is why we live in Northern Arizona. It's so perfect all the time. It's been great. So the gardens are responding well. My tomatoes have doubled in size this week. So they're doing great. Squash is taking off. My hydrangeas are over the top. Hydrangeas, people don't realize that hydrangeas do grow here very well as long as you get them out of the sun and the wind. They don't mind the cold, they don't mind the temperature. It's that sun, the UV rays are so intense that they tend to have the leaves get burned. But if you get them, like mine is on the north side of my house, underneath the patio. So pretty much it gets some morning sun, and then the rest of the day it's shaded. And it is 100% all the time, rightest bloom, covered in blue. It's fantastic. It's right there in the back patio. Everyone that comes down goes, "Oh my gosh, wow, I put it in a container. So I can move it around where I want." It's just beautiful. And so hydrangeas do well. The other one that people don't realize is rhododendron. Oh, rhododendrons grow here? Yeah, they do really well. They just don't like the sun. So they'll take more sun than a hydrangea, but they need to be out of that 10 to 2 midday heat. If you do that, so the north side of a house under the canopy of trees, next to a deck where it's got some shade, in a container by the front door that's covered, those are places for your shade loving plants. So we segment these out at the garden center. Okay, these are all your shade loving perennials, shade loving annual flowers. It's fuchsias, begonias, coleus. Here's all of our shade blooming shrubs. That's azaleas and hollies and rhododendrons and rhodies, hydrangeas. What did I just say? I'm in a circle here. So that we kind of segregate them. And those plants like some sun in the morning or late in the day. It's at midday, middle of the day, that heat in June, that's what's going to get it. And so we've got a whole nother section, which is actually much larger. It's actually easier to find plants that grow in the sun than it is in the shade because our sun is just so intense. So those plants, those are lilacs and crepe myrtles and rose of Sharons. I mean, the list goes on. Russian sage. I mean, the list goes on and on. Rosemary. I just put a beautiful crop of creeping rosemary. So all of our sunny shrubs, we segment them. So we've curated them. So we get an entire row, hundreds of plants that are knee high and below shrubs. So ground covery kind of thing. So I put some Huntington carpet rosemary in there. Went, this is so perfect. It's a great plant. It's the hardiest of all the trailing or creeping or carpet type of rosemaries. It comes back year after year. It gets just below knee high and evergreen. Going, this should not be in the herbs. This deserves to be down here in the shrub section that's knee high and below. Then we go by hip high because people generally shop. I need something about, I don't know, 3-4 feet tall. Here they all are. You got evergreens, you got bloomers, you got grasses, but they all grow about hip high. And then we got the screeners. I need to block the wind. I don't want to see my neighbors. I need this head high and above. So those are red tip photinias, cotoneasters, pampas grass, euonymus. There's a lot of them. Silverberry, elaeagnus. It goes on and on. There's an entire bed, hundreds of plants. And so you go and try just these are all for the sun area, and we go by height. And then you can go read all the tags, look at the signs, decide which one. Plants call to you. As you're walking through a garden, or you walk through a garden center that's done really well. I mean, we are a top end. So Waters Garden Center has been around 62 years. And we are a real garden center. Like if you've been to like a over the top garden center anywhere in the country, okay, that's the bar. That's us. And every city has one. So Warner's Nursery, good friends of ours up in Flagstaff. They're over a real garden center. Plant Fair over in Payson, good friends of ours. They're a real garden center over in Star Valley. Barrage Nursery down at the base of Camelback Mountain. Mesquite Valley Growers, good friends of ours down in Tucson. Real garden centers. And then you've got, really, we call it, a consultant once explained it to me, Ken, there's only three kinds of garden centers. There's the weird and interesting. These are your, I only grow cactus, or I only grow natives, or I only grow herbs, or I only grow, they're so specialized, but they're freakishly interesting people. They're artists. They just grow these really cool plants. But there's not a lot of them. They're just really specialized. So I only grow tomatoes and that's it. Okay, well, what about my broccoli and peppers? And then there's Walmart or the box store. So he's doing W's, weird, Walmart, and wonderful. These are folks that have beautiful displays, perfect plants. They're well maintained. Usually butterflies, fairies, and hummingbirds are flying around the garden center. Those are wonderful garden centers. And so we always try to provide that wonderful experience. You should be able to come into a great garden center and be inspired, just relax. And it's kind of my time to myself. And you should be able to pick up a plant, take it home with you, and go plant it. That's a great garden center. And so it's what we try to pull off. We've got a lot of things going on. Right now, for myself, the garden advice I was fertilizing my gardens. So I'm getting finished. So I've got a lot of flowers going in, lots of herbs, lots of vegetables going in, some new shrubs. So I'm accessorizing. I'm taking some things out. I just ripped a rosemary, a barbecue rosemary. This is an upright rosemary, evergreen. It's about knee high or so, but puts on these long herbal kind of rosemary branches, and you can pick those off and make skewers out of them. And you can skewer your chicken or your pork, and just the herbs permeate the grillable meats just from the inside out. It's magical. I mean, it's good stuff. But it was looking old. It had been in there for like 10 years, and I went, okay, that's it. I don't want no more ugly plants in the Lain casa. We're going to change this thing out. I ripped that thing out by the roots, threw it in the trash can, put a brand new one in. Cost me like $5.99. Just good. Okay, that's it. Why was I putting up with this ugly thing for so long? We live in America, the greatest country that's ever existed. I don't have to put up with ugly plants. And so I just popped it out this morning and went, okay, I feel better. I'm going to nurse this thing along, nurture it, watch it grow and thrive for another 10 years. That's a great thing about plants. You might pay a few dollars up front, but you get to enjoy it for years. Perennials are for years and years. Trees are decades. A great shrub should last 20, 30 years. So lilacs, they'll probably outlive you. Forsythia, crepe myrtles, they're gonna be there for years. It's worth every dime if they're just healthy. Come back. That's one too. I was helping someone with some trees, some fruit trees. Listen, you really want to handpick your fruit trees. A pretty tree gets more beautiful with age and healthier. An ugly tree just gets uglier. I mean, it just gets worse. So it compounds. It goes, look how ugly I am, and I can be uglier. So you really want dog-leg trees, things with a bag trunk. You want a really pretty tree. I was fertilizing my container gardens, and I realized, you know what? I had one of my watering cans failed. I'm mixing up Flower Power, my water soluble fertilizer, in my water can. And it broke. So it wore out. Literally the sun broke down the plastic. It's a 2.5 gallon watering can. And so I threw it away, and I had another one. So I finished up the job, and I went, you know what? Gardeners need 2 watering cans. You're filling one up and you're taking the other. If you have any amount of gardens at all, you just put your Flower Power, get your fertilizer in, and just start watering. It's just so much more efficient with 2 watering cans, and not a bucket, not a tiny one, 2.5 gallon plastic green watering can. They're very inexpensive, but I keep 2 in the front yard, 2 in the back, and I just fertilize and make my plants happy. And usually I have something mixed up, either a compost tea or a fertilizer in there, so I can make my plants happy. I think you need the right tools. Another one, if you're new to the area, a moisture meter is your friend until you get familiar with how your soil dries out. So 2 watering cans and a moisture meter are like entry level to gardening for a new gardener here in the local area. Anyway, enough of my rant. We got Lisa Watersling coming in with your garden questions right after this. Waters Garden companion plants in May are Indian hawthorn, purple robe locust, Prescott sunshine geraniums, and vining akebia.
Akebia is a super vigorous vine with dangling fragrant flowers.
She proliferates up arbors, pergolas, fences, and stunning as a ground cover to retain hills.
One of the fastest growing evergreen vines you can plant in the gardens.
You'll only find the hardiest vines at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
You're listening to Garden Master Ken Lain, owner of Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Join his daily podcast for timely garden advice seasonally right for the gardens. Ken can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center in Prescott or through his website at top10gardener.com.